Well, it features Jon Sturgårds. We can all start calling him Jonte, that we all call him Jonte actually in Finland. And so he will be a very interesting person to work with. It's great that there's somebody, he's extremely passionate and very vigorous musician, and it's great that he plays contemporary music that often is not that often can be for people a bit cold, and he won't leave anyone cold with his playing because he's so, you know, in everything, you know, and very passionate about it.
It's an exploration of new, as in recent and brand new repertoire, with the most important work or works being Lutoslawski's Preludes and Fugue, which is something that I've been wanting to do for years and haven't got around to it for a number of reasons. And so when Sturgårds put this on the program, I embraced it and thought, great, this is good.
But contemporary music is very important for him. I think because, well, Finland is a country that has so many composers, and everybody, all the orchestras play almost in each concert there's one contemporary work played. Jonte is as well, he's the artistic director of the Lapland Chamber Orchestra. And I spoke to Jonte some years ago, and he said, oh, this is so exciting that he comes to Australia, because that's the ultimate, you know, the two extremes, the Lapland Chamber Orchestra, and then he comes to the Australian Chamber. You couldn't go any further away. And it's a very interesting orchestra that has won lots of prizes in Finland and in Europe for their very innovative way of working, which is that they work a little bit like the ACO. They prepare their program and they go on tour around Lapland. And Lapland meaning that it actually is based in a town called Rovaniemi, which is the town where Santa Claus lives officially. Santa Claus lives in that town. They play in these little towns mainly contemporary music. And people are so enthusiastic. They talk about, oh, that Hämeenniemi piece, wasn't that fantastic? Then they hear another piece by, you know, maybe Ichi Yanagi or by Lutoslawski, or they go and hear a bit of Crumb or this, and these people are actually trained to hear contemporary music. Of course he plays, you know, Mozart and all the others that have been contemporary in their own day sometime too. But so that is a very interesting concept that his orchestra in Lapland is having, yes. And it's great that he comes to Australia and does this program with us. I think it's the first time that ACO is going to play the Lutoslawski. ACO has never performed it before, and it's it's an incredible masterwork from the 20th century. Personally, one of my favorite pieces for four-string ensemble. Lutoslawski's music has an incredible beauty into it, and the sound world is nothing like it. So many film composers and other composers just try to imitate it. You hear it all the time on films, how composers are trying to make something like Lutoslawski wrote, because he manages to make always the character is so strong. You always feel there is a beauty, there is the character that comes out in that music it can be extremely, you know, heart-achingly beautiful, but then it can become so strong, and you see colors, and it's very clear music as well. It's not a difficult music to listen to, yeah, and to play as well. It's a lot of fun because this piece is for 13 solo instruments, so every single person is having a different part, and it goes around in the orchestra, it comes back again, and it's visually as well, very interesting piece for a string ensemble, I would say. Yeah. If we don't listen to, or if we don't play the composers of our time, we lose the perspective on the composers that were the time before as well, because you don't know anymore what you are listening to? What are you just want to hear something that is been dead for a long time. Of course the music stays alive, but one has to, it's a movement that keeps going on the whole time. Music, it changes, it develops. And for example, this thing that nowadays, it's fantastic with the contemporary music, as in this concert, we play music basically from all around the world. It's not only composers from Vienna, it's not only composers from the Middle Europe, composers from Japan, you know, and Finland, and these places where people didn't compose 300 years ago. And it's very interesting to hear what the character is, because there's always so much to offer. Music can say any character or any emotion. So rather than listening to the dissonances of the music, if one starts just painting up the picture in your head and listening to the actual character and the emotion of the piece rather than the dissonances, I think then one starts listening to Mozart and Haydn quite differently too, and one starts hearing suddenly, wow, Haydn actually did more dissonances than most people did, or you would start hearing them as well differently. It's not just pretty notes, you start hearing the different things. So it's very important to see the whole picture. And the classical music, well, it wouldn't survive if we didn't play contemporary music. Mozart and Haydn and this wouldn't survive really either. So it has to be all the time in a movement together. Yeah.